How are we doing today? Welcome back to the Cozy Club. My name is Cozy Gamer, and today we are going to go over something that has been highly requested for me to do. A lot of you guys have put in the comments if I could do more early game content, so I wanted to do something for more beginners in DSA, or, you know, if you're in the level 30 to 50 range, you might still have a tough time on Tower 3. This video is going to be the start to a brand new series on how to conquer and tackle the towers within Disney Sorcerer's Arena. We're going to start with Tower 3 and move all the way to Tower 5 in the coming weeks, guys. And I'm excited to bring you an in-depth and complete guide going over all the enemies, what best characters to use, and what strategies you can do to try to beat this as early as possible. Tower 3 is especially important because you get the luxurious, the amazing Golden Hammer and Peter Pan's Shadow. You can start farming these spells as soon as you beat this tower, so I recommend trying to grind it out and get this thing done as soon as possible. After this guide, if you're having any other trouble with Tower 3, feel free to join the Cozy Club Discord. We have a great channel called Tower Talk. Every day I see people in the Cozy Club Discord help out and help other players get through the Tower of Endurance or the towers that they are on, guys. If you want to join and get some help or give help to others, feel free to check the description below. So Tower 3 is some of the more difficult content within DSA that's not against live players. You're going to be facing it at a time where you kind of have a little bit of a weak roster. However, if you're watching the complete farming guide, which you can go ahead and find right here, you know that you will be going after Jack Sparrow first and the kingdom characters that you'll need to get through this tower. When I made that farming guide, I made sure to include Towers of Endurance in the focus farming that you're going to be doing, unlocking key characters along your progression. So by the time you'll be able to beat this tower, I've seen level 35 all the way to level 50 for people kind of getting tripped up on it. You should have the characters needed to beat it. It's just a matter of knowing the strategy, having patience, and of course, using the right characters. Now, in this video, I partnered with an amazing DSA resource community, and these amazing graphics were created by Vizsla. We were able to communicate, and he was able to make some awesome graphics to use for this video. If you guys can't get enough of Discord and want to join an awesome resource server for DSA, you can find the link in my description below. Vizsla and his team have done an incredible job getting all of these different graphics together, put together by different people in the DSA community, and they also support all different kinds of content creators. Again, you can find that in the description below. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the guide. All right, to cover some basics for Tower 3, you're going to need Kingdom and Oceanic Realm characters. So looking at this graphic, you can see exactly how many oceanic tunes you need or what realm you need. On the bottom, I've got the characters that I recommend using for this floor. You've got the kingdom characters and oceanic characters. If their border is highlighted in the gold, these are going to be the characters that are going to be best suited to get you through Tower 3. Up above that, we've got the enemies and how many they're going to be in each wave and exactly what they do when you are fighting them. So again, this should help you get through these battles quite easily. There are going to be some floors or levels, you could say, that are not going to require a specific realm, and during that you can use Dash, Zerg, and some of the other pay-to-play options to make it super easy, but there's plenty of free-to-play characters that you should be able to breeze through Tower 3 with. All right, so the whole tower is going to be oceanic theme, and funny enough, there's more oceanic enemies on here than we even have playable characters in this game. I find that funny, and I know we're going to be getting a lot more coming at us, but there's a lot of different NPCs or enemies in this tower, so we'll go through each of them and what they do and kind of who to go for first. All right, now starting with floor 1, you're gonna have 2 enemies on this floor, starting with the high damage, the annoying mermaids. You're going to see these things all through Tower 3, and you're gonna want to focus fire these anytime you see them throughout the floors. They have a charm that's really going to disrupt your attack, and they do some pretty high damage for looking so cute and innocent looking. The turtles from Finding Nemo, they're just going to do a one-turn taunt and put some defense up, so you can ignore them and put everything you have towards the mermaids. Now, some quick tower basic tips. Make sure that you know a few things. If your characters, your kingdom or oceanic tunes have taken a lot of damage, make sure and just forfeit the match and go back in. There's no penalty to this, and you're going to want to do this whenever you go into the match and the enemy starts with a lot of turn meter. Make sure that you know to restart the match because you're going to start out with such a high disadvantage. You're going to need to make sure that you balance and make the health last on your characters throughout the entire tower. So on these early floors especially, just make sure you restart until you get a favorable matchup with turn meter where you should be able to take out the mermaids pretty quickly. Looking at the characters, we have Aladdin, who's going to be with the Kingdom Realm. He can go ahead and put slow on a flanking row of enemies. This is going to help delay them so you can get more attacks out. He also synergizes really well with Jasmine. If you saw my top tower character guide, you know Jasmine is an amazing unit to use in Tower of Endurance, and Raja is really going to soak up a lot of the enemy's damage. It's going to lower the RNG as they're not going to be attacking your key Oceanic characters, and hopefully they put a lot of the damage into Raja. Make sure that you level up Raja's abilities and make him even more tanky, as you really want him to suck up the most of these hits he can. If you find yourself dying a lot in this tower, just keep leveling up Jasmine, as that's going to help fortify your characters. Most of your characters shouldn't need to be past gear 4 or 5. I finished this at level 37 around T5 for a lot of my gear. However, T4 to T5 is a good balance. For the Oceanic characters, you want to make sure you focus on Ariel and Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, you can get Captain Hook and Captain Jack Sparrow from the club exchange, but I recommend going all in on Captain Jack. His charm ability helps really control the units on the battlefield, and then he has an AoE that's great for getting around taunt. He heals himself, and overall, he's one of the best plug-and-play characters in the game. Not only that, but he's an amazing Oceanic character. Now, a good strategy I've seen is that people get Captain Hook or Tinkerbell, and they pretty much put them in their teams on the early floors just to take the hits and die. You want to save as much health as possible on Captain Jack Sparrow and Ariel. And speaking of Ariel, she's a great unit for Towers of Endurance. Ariel is going to be able to heal your team. She works really well with Sorcerer Mickey and Aladdin, as her basic is going to chain to slow enemies. She can do a massive purge attack, and she can give the buff Trident's Boom that's going to significantly power up your tunes for Tower 3. Overall, Ariel and Captain Jack are both solid choices. I would again focus on T5 for Captain Jack and T4 for Ariel. So put in your weaker Oceanic characters and go ahead and get through floor 1. We're going to move on to floor 2 that have a new enemy, and that's going to be the Kakamora. Now, the Kakamora are from the Moana series, if you do remember, and they have 2 debuffs that they can put on you. For the most part, you can ignore them. Again, you want to go for the mermaids first. Then I would focus on the Kakamora here, and then, of course, go after the turtles that are just going to kind of swim in place and do nothing. Kakamora have a 2-turn damage over time that they can put on your allies, and they can also do a 1-turn sleep, so that can get annoying. But keep in mind, if your character is sleeping, all it takes is for one of the enemies to hit them and they'll be back awake. Now, floor 3, you're going to fight your first recognizable character, and that's going to be Captain Hook. Now, you don't have to worry about him too much. He does have a pretty big damaging attack with his present bomb. Try to control him and make sure that he doesn't start out with a lot of turn meter. It's only going to be 1 wave. And again, you can use characters like Anna, who's going to help speed up your entire team. She has a great AoE offense down that should lower all of the attack to a significant degree so that you're not taking as much damage from the enemies. Now, as you know, Shan Yu is an amazing leader for the Kingdom faction. Now, with live PvP, he's a game changer, and it's still very helpful to have the speed boost in Towers of Endurance. It's not going to be as much and as needed, but you do need a leader, and Shan Yu is an amazing choice. You should have him at 5 stars by now at the very least. So take in your Shan Yu, as he's going to help you put out some raw, heavy offense against the enemies. Sorcerer Mickey's a great starting tune, and he can lower turn meter and has a great AoE slow. And looking at the gorgeous, handsome Gaston. Gaston's a great use in tower. If you did invest in him, don't invest for him for, PvP, but if you had him already unlocked, you can use his blind in tower, and it helps lower the RNG or lower the chance that the enemy will hit you. One of my favorite characters for tower is going to be Genie, and that's because he helps with every single team. He's a Kingdom character that can do some amazing damage now. You're going to be unlocking Peter's Shadow that makes Genie even better, but he can save allies if they die. Now, note, if they are being saved by Genie, you probably just want to redo the run anyway, as they're going to have so low of health going into the next battles that it's just not worth it. You want to make sure that your health is as topped off as possible going into each battle. And then just a quick shout out to Davy Jones. You probably won't have him when you're on Tower 3, but he's a great Oceanic character that can help you get through it immensely. He has summonable crew that can take a lot of hits and do some good damage. He has powerful attacks, and overall, Davy Jones is an amazing Oceanic character. However, I think most of you guys will not have him unlocked. So on this floor, you want to make sure you take out the mermaids. You can go ahead and ignore the Jolly Roger crew. They usually just give themselves buffs. They do some damage after they've given themselves buffs. Keep in mind, sometimes they do feel a little bit courageous and attack you. And if you're getting attacked a lot in one round, again, forfeit and come back. Captain Hook has a big present bomb attack that does some decent solid damage on you. Just focus Captain Hook and focus the mermaids and you should be able to get to floor 4. Now, a lot of things are going to change on floor 4. You can use a lot of different tunes. However, you're going to need to start using 2 oceanic tunes. So if you went ahead and went with the strategy of using Captain Hook and Tinkerbell on the earlier floors, go ahead and use Captain Jack Sparrow and Ariel here. You're going to need them because you're facing Maui and the Kakamora. Now with Maui, focus him fast and hit him hard as he has some annoying invincible buffs that he puts up. And then the Kakamora, go ahead and take them out as you can. There's a lot of them, and so you should see some of your allies sleeping a lot. The turtles you can save for later. Luckily on this floor, you can use other tunes outside of the kingdom factions. Some of them that I've highlighted here. Hades does some great AoE damage. The Doctor is going to be amazing for healing up your kingdom team. These floors are important that you heal up the damage that they took from the previous waves if you need to get them ready for the floors above, because it only gets harder from here, Cozy Club. So use Dr. Facilier to your advantage on these floors and heal up your tunes. You can see I also put Buzz and Syndrome on this list. They've got some stuns and they do some neat stuff in their kits, and they should be a great addition, and you might have access to them early, so I recommend using these characters as well if you don't have the other ones on the list. All right, so you've beaten floor 4. Now go ahead and go to floor 5, and the only new thing here is going to be the Black Pearl Lady Pirates that you're going to see, and they've got some high damage and they can inflict slow, so make sure you concentrate them first. Heal up with Dr. Facilier and get ready because the next floors only get tougher, going to floor 6. Now floor 6 is going to be your first true test as it's your first 2-wave floor. Now going into each floor, make sure you have favorable turn meters. Sometimes you'll breeze through phase 1, but then going into the second wave, you're going to have much less favorable turn meter, and then you go in there and you lose a lot of health. Guys, just be patient, reset, and come back in and tackle it when you have full health. You'll be fighting every enemy that we've gone through so far. You have the Jolly Roger crew, which again, remember, they just do some buffs. You can ignore them a little bit. I'd focus the mermaids first, then focus the Black Pearl Pirates, and then go ahead and make sure you're controlling Captain Jack Sparrow. He can charm. He has got that big AoE just like your own Jack Sparrow. And overall, if you do have favorable turn meter, you should be able to control him with your own charm and then work on the enemies around him. The new enemy you're going to see here is the Atlantean, and they do a continuous healing AoE. Again, not a high priority target. Make sure you hit the characters and the enemies that are going to be putting big damage on your own characters. Now going on to floor 7, it's a nice break because you're not going to be fighting anything crazy. You've got the new enemy, that's the jellyfish. They just put up reflect. They don't do much. And then you've got the Atlanteans. I would use this floor to heal up as this is the last floor. You'll be able to use the different characters that aren't Kingdom and Oceanic. So if you've got some leftover characters that need a bit more healing, plug them in with Dr. F and get some good turn meter. Heal them up because we're going to floor 8. Now gear up, Cozy Club. Floor 8 is the challenge in Tower 3. I cannot tell you how many people I see in my Discord talking about 1 through 7 being a breeze, and then floor 8 comes with the hard hammer, and it is ridiculously tough. So let's go through it. First off, you're going to be fighting a lot of these dang mermaids, and they're all going to be putting out charm, and they're all going to be doing big damage. Now the boss here is Tinkerbell. I wouldn't worry about her too much, but this is a 2-wave floor that just seems so hard to get through. Tower is all about controlling the enemy unit. So look at the yellow turn meter bar below them. If their turn is coming up and you've got a charm with your Jack Sparrow, charm the enemy just to stop them from doing damage to your team as you recollect and get things going. One thing we haven't talked about yet is great spells for Tower of Endurance, and Bucket of Soldiers is going to be your best friend. If you have Bucket of Soldiers, or you get it whenever the Toy Story event comes back around, it's going to help you immensely through these floors. If you don't, Duke Kaboom, Triggers Tower, and some of the other early spells will work, but Bucket of Soldiers should make your time a lot easier in Tower 3. So you're going to keep repeating this floor and keep repeating it as these mermaids, they just seem to hit always the same character, or I feel like they know the ones with the lowest health and they take them down fast. Get the slows out there, get the debuffs. One thing I like to do is look at the turn meter bar at the bottom. If you see a mermaid's coming up to an attack and she still has very high health, just ignore her. You're not going to be able to stop her in time. So go to another mermaid or another character and start working on them, and hopefully you can kill that character before their turn comes up. All right, you've been grinding, you've restarted, you've made sure to prioritize strategies and the abilities on your characters, making sure you're using the essential abilities, and you are now done with floor 8. And guys, welcome to mid game. Pretty much when you beat floor 8 and you've beaten this tower, you now have entered the mid to late game in DSA, and congratulations, you've got through one of the tougher floors within the Mo Towers of Endurance. Now you get rewarded with fighting the Flying Dutchman, that they're going to do some decent damage on the next floor, but you only have one wave, and hopefully you have enough health to get you through this battle. Now, if you got lucky enough and a good enough RNG, you should have enough health to get through this floor, no problem. Start over enough until you get favorable turn meter if you do have lower level characters, or if you have Shan Yu and the Aladdin gang and they didn't take much damage, you should be able to fight the Flying Dutchman pretty easily. Now, they do have Vulnerable, which is going to put a red X above your characters, and it guarantees a crit on your own allies. So use Genie's Hat Trick if you need to get rid of that, and then you can actually put that on the enemy and then put the crit on them. So on this floor, go ahead, make sure you take out those Flying Dutchmen and then worry about the jellyfish after that. You only have one more floor after this, and I know your characters are begging for health at this point. And here we are, the final floor, floor 10 for Tower 3, guys. This is going to be the last challenge, and you buckle up because it's not going to be easy. We've got Davy Jones and the rest of his crew. We've got the Flying Dutchman, Jellyfish, the Jolly Roger crew. We've got the Atlanteans and the Kakamora. So you're fighting everything you've fought in previously, but the good news is we're not having to fight those pesky mermaids. The mermaids is what really makes this tower hard, so the fact that we don't have to fight them on this floor is a breath of fresh air. I would focus the Flying Dutchman here. You're going to go through 2 waves, so if the first wave doesn't go well, or you go into the second wave and again the turn meter is just not in your favor, restart and get yourself ready. Obviously, the Flying Dutchmen are the prime target that you want to go after. The Jolly Roger crew would probably who I would go after next, with the Kakamora following them. Now, when you fight Davy Jones, he can make things very frustrating, so put all of your attack power into him. He is a little beefier than his allies, but make sure you control him either by putting him to sleep, getting charm on him, or get some debuff to make sure that Davy Jones doesn't do his massive silence attack on you. Now, once you've beaten the Flying Dutchman and Davy Jones himself, you have beaten Tower 3 and earned yourself Peach Shadow and Golden Hammer, some of the best spells in the game. So if you beat Tower 3 using this guide, put in the comments below, Cozy, I finally beat Tower 3. And good news for you guys is we're doing a Tower 4 and 5 guide. So if you can't beat those, just wait for those videos to come out and you should be able to beat each of them, and we'll all get through it as the Cozy Club. I want to thank you so much for joining me and sticking with me for the entire Tower 3 guide. Hopefully I helped you get through one of the harder events, and thank you again, Vizsla. These graphics are beautiful, guys. Go ahead and check out the description below for getting in contact with me through Twitch, Discord, and Patreon. Guys, I'm excited to get more and more videos out there. We've got a big week next week, I anticipate, so we'll have lots of videos out. I will see you next time right here at the Cozy Club, and until then, stay cozy, my friends.